Today, more than 1 billion people will watch the World Cup final. Around 5 billion people will have followed the tournament, the biggest thing our species stages, hosted by the most investigated association in world sport. FIFA walked out of decades of corruption cases, and today it hands you a perfect, glittering final. So why can nobody actually stop them? Courts, sponsors, its own watchdogs, even the referees. Every single one of them is paid, appointed or needed by FIFA. And the corruption here was never really about football. Nobody bribes for the love of the sport. So let's start with the actual reason. A World Cup sells one thing better than anything on earth. For a month, the host owns the world's attention. A state with ugly headlines can buy 4 clean weeks. The definition for it is sports washing. Qatar is the blunt version. It won the biggest tournament there is and built the stages on migrant labor. The Guardian counted over 6,500 migrant deaths in the decade after the bid. Qatar rejects that framing and counts far fewer on World Cup sites. But set the exact figure aside. Look at who hosts in 2026. The tournament landed while the country sat in the middle of controversy, from foreign policy to scandals dominating the headlines, and FIFA leaned straight into it. Different country, identical product. So the demand comes from outside football. So who can stop the one selling all of this? Start with the law. Officials were arrested in their hotel rooms before the annual congress. Dozens were charged and many pleaded guilty. Now look at who actually stood trial. You can jail a man, but you cannot jail a Swiss club. On paper it's an association, the same category as a village sports club. So the man fell and the institution stayed spotless. In court, FIFA wasn't the accused. It sat there as the victim, and the courts paid it back, over $200 million. Fine, if courts can't reach it, money can. A big enough boycott would sting. Except the fans are the shield. The Qatar edition drowned in bad press. Around 5 billion people engaged with it anyway. Walk away from a crowd that size and you don't harm FIFA. So in its worst year, every sponsor slot sold out. The cycle pulled in a record $7.5 billion. Alright, if outsiders can't move it, remove the man from inside. That vote is decided by 211 national federations. But look closer at those 211. FIFA pays them. For a small nation, that's the largest check in its football history. So the people who could vote him out live off his budget. The same logic runs every watchdog FIFA owns. When it investigated the World Cup bids, it buried its own report. The full thing surfaced only after a leak, years later. Everything so far happened where you can't see it, but one place forces FIFA to prove fairness in the open: the referee. And even that whistle got pulled into a room FIFA runs. VAR arrived promising the end of controversy. What it delivered is far narrower than the promise. Offside became a measurement, judged to the width of a toe. The cause that the fans are actually fuming about stay human. VAR only steps in for a clear and obvious error. All that subjectivity just relocated to a back room. And the proof of it is how inconsistent it is. One team loses a late goal to a review. A near identical situation somewhere else gets played on and wins the game for another team. So how does FIFA get away with it every single time? The buyers come from outside football, and the money continues to flow. The courts catch people and leave the institution alone. The audience is too big for any sponsor to walk. The inside judges live on the exact budget they'd have to cut. And today, even the whistle on the pitch is controlled by FIFA. In a while, that final begins. The trophy goes up, the confetti falls, and the red card stays exactly where it always does. Nobody blows the whistle, because today, like always, it belongs to them.